All right, everybody, this is Ed. Ed and I work together at the hospital. I'm down in the ER, he's up in the OR. We both have awesome Overland Tacomas, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about his. And again, one of the great things about Ed's Tacoma is he's done a lot of stuff on a budget. All right, Ed, tell us what you got.
Yeah, so it's 2016 Tacoma. This is the TRD off-road. I went with the TRD off-road simply because it had the locking rear diff. I thought about going with the SR or one of the lower models for since we are talking about budget, but since this had the locking rear differential, I thought that was the best way to go for more harder off-roading later on. I haven't really done anything with the tires, lift yet. It's in the works. I'm thinking about maybe doing a Old Man Emu lift on there. I've heard a lot of great things about it. Definitely doing a heavy spring setup in the rear, a heavy leaf spring setup in the rear, simply because I have a lot of weight and I'm already sagging slightly. And doing a heavier set in the front because I have plans to get a big winch bumper and things on the front later on down the line. But I got a step side. I think they're not called technically sliders. They are steps. Have I used them as sliders? Yes, unfortunately. Did they do the job? They did. I didn't really hit them too hard. It kind of kept my under frame on the sides from crumpling in from rocks and roots and everything. I think that's one Tigris. It's Tigris something. I don't remember the brand on them, but they're very useful, especially since I have a roof rack on the top. It allows me to get things from the top and be able to tie things down easier, as well as putting my tent up with the zipper. It just helps me get up a little higher to be able to reach that. This roof rack, I had a Subaru before this and I ran a Prinsu. Prinsu's amazing rack, great quality, great everything about it, but they can be a little pricey. So I went with this cheaper model. I think I paid maybe $350 for it, which compared to, how much was your Prinsu? $600?
Yeah, 600. Yep.
Yeah, so I think around $350 or so. So it was budget, definitely. The difference between this and a Prinsu, they're made of aluminum, which is great, lightweight and everything, but this is just good old steel. So it's a lot heavier, so it adds more weight. Technically, yeah, I mean, it'd be more sturdy and everything, but you do sacrifice with weight and gas mileage, adding that weight.
What have you got on top? Looks like you've already gotten some mods up there. Let's take a look at that.
Yeah, so I got a water port that I actually bought from you.
That's true.
It's 3 gallons. It's super useful. It can be used as like a small shower. What I use it majority for is cleaning up when I cook. It makes things super easy, so you're not having to work out of a small jerry can and sorts. You can just fill this up, and there's different attachments for it.
How did you mount it to your rack?
So I just drilled 3 holes in it, and this setup slides up and down. There's a wing nut on here which secures them in place, and I just screwed it directly into the roof rack itself.
Okay.
It's super awesome. Comes with a hose like this, just like you have at everybody has at their house, and it's pressurized. It gives off pretty much the same thing as if you were going to use the hose and outlet at your home. So it's really good. I keep a 5-gallon jerry can in the car and in the back of the truck as well. So whenever I go out, if I do run out of water, I keep a bike pump and the 5-gallon jerry can so I can refill it and then repressurize it. So I have more water.
And it looks like you had a light bar.
Yep. So
where do you run how'd you wire that? Where's the wire ran?
So I ran the wires down the side of the roof rack, and I actually I have a missing part of my back seat, and I ran the wires through a vent behind the cab.
Okay.
And kind of like saying this is overlanding on a budget. So I mean, it looks kind of like the Baja design light bar, but it's not. I unfortunately don't have $1,100 or so to drop on a light bar, so I think this was maybe $150, $180.
Yeah,
and it's
difference.
super cool because you can control the ambers on their own or the white. So if you just want to run ambers on the side, if you're running down a trail, it's really dusty. Or if you just want to run the white on there as well.
And you got the reboost. Does that help?
It does its job. I'm sure people are watch these videos and they're like, there's no way that WeBoost works. I mean, the WeBoost does a decent job. If you don't have signal somewhere, you're not going to have signal. It's not magic. It's not magic. It does boost things in certain areas. If I drive the back way on 221 behind Linville, generally I don't have service, but when I put this on here, when I took a trip down to Asheville, I had at least one bar and I was able to make phone calls if I needed. Maybe not scroll through YouTube, but in an emergency, if my radio's down or at a radio contact, I could be able to use my cell phone.
Okay, now let's see what other mods you have up front. You got some ditch lights.
Yep.
And it looks like you have an antenna there.
Yep. So this is my GRMS radio.
Okay.
I wired that through the firewall. It is I think a 25 watt audio. I don't remember the brand, audio something. And it works really well up here. The ditch lights are, again, knockoff Baja Designs. They work really great. The top on them are spots and the bottom are floods, so it gives you a different array pan of lights. And for my fog lights, I got the Cali raised LED ones, kind of like you.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah. And if you want to peek in here.
What have you done in here?
I actually put I also forgot the brand, but I can send it to you. It is a fuse box that I put everything in here too, so it makes things cleaner. So instead of having wires kind of like this going everywhere, it puts them all to one central location, keeps it a mounting area. There's fuses in here, and this is a breaker for the whole get together.
Oh yeah, that's nice. A lot cleaner than the setup I have for sure.
Yeah.
That's good.
So,
all right, well, let's start moving toward the back of the truck.
Yeah.
Because you know you got some really cool stuff going on back here.
Yep. So I used to run a what is it, RCI bed rack that I also bought from you. I used to run that so I could run my my rooftop tent. It was a great rack. I had no gripes or complaints, but the only issue I had was I didn't have a lot of dry space because I have a lot of stuff, and I didn't necessarily want to clog the back seat too much. So I sold that and went with this model. It's the Alu Cab canopy, so that I'd have more dry space and I can still keep my rooftop tent. So unlike other canopies for your truck, I mean, Alu Cabs, Smart Cap, they're weight bearing, so I can put my tent up top, sleep up there. I'm not a small guy, so I'm gonna make sure I have it structurally supported. So
before we jump into the back of the truck and what you're storing there, which is really cool, and the mods you've done, let's look at what you have in these bins on the side. People like to see, what are you carrying? What do you keep in these in the storage area here on the side of the cap?
Yeah, so this side, I like to call my utility bin. Like everybody has a junk drawer. This is my junk utility thing. I keep 2 quarts of oil. I used to drive a Subaru, so I always keep extra oil on you because it's going to burn it. Fire extinguisher, jumper cables, flares. I keep a little bit of recovery gear on this side. I have a bigger recovery box on the inside, but I keep things like a snatch rope. I keep a strap, 2 soft shackles, just so if I'm just doing a quick pull out of a ditch or something, I don't have to dig out all of my gear out.
So this isn't a full bin, it's a half bin, right?
Yes.
Okay, yep. So this is access directly into the back of your truck right here.
Yep.
On the side, okay.
Yep. Alu Cab makes something that goes in between here, kind of like this. It's like their ammo can slider, so you can slide bins in and out. But like I'm saying, I'm balling on a budget, so if you want to slide over here, I built my own. I think I'm maybe under $100 in this in lumber, and I just built a platform so that space on the other side of my bins is not wasted, and I'll be able to use that as kind of a deck.
So it looks like you got somewhat 2x4s here.
Yep.
Plywood, and then what's this bar? Like a protective metal bar. It keeps them sliding around.
Yeah, so I used 2x4s, 2 2x6s, and a piece of plywood that I covered in Flex Seal, just to give it more water resistance and more non-slip. But that's a piece of aluminum that I put there so that things wouldn't slide back and forth if I'm going up a hill or just any time on the road, so my gear doesn't slide off my deck.
So what all are you carrying here? I see several different bins.
Yeah. So on my left, I keep a few bottles of water, a few fuel cans, like the 1 pound green propane tanks for my stove. That's my recovery box. In there, I keep, I think, three 3 toe straps, a tree strap, like a tree saver, an axle strap, a block and tackle, a few hard shackles, and I keep 100 feet of rescue rope behind the back seat so that I can set up a system with pulleys and everything so that we can use mechanical advantage to get us out of a really tough situation. Beside that, that's my 5-gallon jerry can. It's empty right now because
Okay, that's the water.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't have anything planned out to go. Beside that, I have a 1-gallon gas can. I mean, 1 gallon might get you somewhere, it might not, but it's better than nothing. Medical, and I have a food box, so I keep like snacks, like Cliff Bars.
So the orange one's your medical kit?
It is.
Okay. Where's the snack box? That's the little...
It is behind that.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to see from that angle.
Yeah, let's take a look on this side.
The way I have everything origamied. This is my food bin. It's a mess, but I keep my stove, stuff for my pans. I keep a coffee maker, some coffee, things of that nature. I just use a drip filter for my coffee. And this is the other side of the storage. I keep my sink over here. This is the hose that we were talking about. I generally just either throw it in here or throw it in the food box. I have the stakes, not the stakes, the poles in my tent to hold off rain flies. Behind that, I have a tripod grill that I put over campfires so I can cook steak and stuff over the fire.
Oh yeah, I've seen that in some of your pictures.
Yeah. And one of the things, kind of like yours, mine's not as cool. Unfortunately, I have the alu cab has tracks inside of there, and I ended up putting eye-bolts, or whatever those are, loops, so that I can mount my chair and my recovery boards to that directly, so I'm not wasting space. Because generally the way I'll run it is I'll run my cooler on the right side, and then I'll fill the rest up with firewood and such. So this keeps them out of the way and still keeps them versatile if I need them in an emergency.
Yeah, that's a great use of space. I think a lot of people appreciate seeing that. All right, well, let's take a look at the inside. Have you done any mods in there?
I've done a few, nothing too grand. This happens to be my my control system for all my lights. We got it off of a page on Etsy. It's a 3D printed. This is a aux beam switch panel that fits directly into that and feeds it through the firewall, so I can control everything on there. I haven't filled them all up yet, but I've labeled things for what I have. So I have a power button, and I'll show you that in a little later. But the power button, I ran 1 wire through the firewall, and that 1 wire powers everything in the cab, so I don't have to run a whole bunch of smaller wires. And my windshield light, which are my ditch lights, light bars on top, and the amber are the ones on the side. My Cali raised fog lights are automatic with the truck. I got this track right here for my phone so that I could just put my phone up here for directions. It's really cool because it's adjustable on here all over. These are the RAM mounts. This is a RAM track, kind of a knockoff RAM track that I pulled this bezel off and I had to sand it down and use speed nuts on the bottom so that I could attach it.
Okay.
Down here, it's a Radio Oddity. That's the brand. This is the GRMS radio that I run, and I think it's 25 watts. I've never had any issues with it. I was on top of Mount Jefferson, which is in West Jefferson, North Carolina, and I was reaching people down in Florida when all the repeaters were attached to each other. Yeah, so that's what I got down there. And yeah, those are my internal mods. I'll show you the.
You done something with your back seat too.
I did. I have a lot of crap, and I keep a lot of crap. So I did a half a seat delete, so I can keep things here like my camera gear, my drone and such. And that right there is the fuse box I was telling you about that I ran to the cab.
Okay.
So
looks like you got an IFAC kit right here.
Yep, I got an IFAC, and I got my toiletry bag on the other side that I keep like dry shampoo, toothbrush, towel, things of that sort.
Yeah, that's right there.
Yep. And I have a hammock up in the interior that I also bought from you. And it's super cool. I like to throw jackets in there, keeps them out of the way.
All right, Ed, this is a great rig. It's like a really great build, and I could see that you put a lot of thought into the process. Sometimes I recommend people try to have an idea of what you want to do down the road, so you're not having to upgrade as much. If you can have a plan, then you can sort of upgrade along the way. And so you can tell how Ed has gotten the storage he needs, and that's given him an idea how much weight is going to be on the truck when he starts to think about what sort of suspension upgrade he wants to do. And I know that's one of the next mods he's thinking about.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, it's definitely been a fun ride with this. I think some things in the future as a lift. I'd like to get some new rims with a little bit of offset, just kind of bring it out a little bit. Some thicker rims. Kind of toying with the idea of taking the rooftop tent off the top of the truck, possibly getting a trailer, an overlanding trailer, just so that, because this is my daily, just so that I don't have to carry around all the excess weight if I don't need to.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right, let's give a little shout out here to Ed's got a photography company, Pinecone Photography, so you can check that out. Where are you at on social media?
I'm on Facebook. I got a Facebook group, Pinecone Photography. My Instagram is Pinecone. So yeah, Pine_cone. So that's where you can find me. And Pinecone Photography is where I post the majority of my my adventures and just things I capture along the way.
All right, and you check out Ed at the next rig and coffee meetup here at Ball Guy.